Yeah, I have a quad right that was born in April, I think, around me, if I'm not mistaken, and she never moves. It's just she never moves, and she's so quiet and so calm and adorable, and I can sense she's taking in so much. But sometimes her dad is a quad left, and he's very frustrated because he keeps telling me like she doesn't like to look at us in the eyes. Like we cannot make her focus. And it's very funny to watch because they're trying to just look in the eyes of this little baby, and she doesn't want to. And she's just like, she keeps like focusing. She's not focusing. She's just like wandering around and taking things in. And so yeah, so just like quadrites are so good when we come to the well, like when we use them as the resources they're magical. But when we push them to be left, when we push them to study, like I was so traumatized by all the homework I had to do because I knew the lessons. Like I knew, and there's a lot of repetition in primary school or beginning of secondary school. There's so much repetition. And one of my worst trauma around school was like suddenly I didn't have my Wednesday afternoons anymore because I had a French teacher and she wanted us to do so many things. We had a book and we needed to highlight things in the book and underline something and put them in circles and stuff. And for left beings, perfect. Like they had all that practice for them. For me, that was awful. There were things I knew how to do 3 years ago, and because my mom was very disciplined and she's an emotional generator, and she's defined everywhere but ajna and head, so she's like quite defined. And for her, it's so easy to do homework, like she didn't understand why I was so reluctant suddenly to do my homework because I never was. But before that, my homework would take me like maybe 30 minutes, an hour. And suddenly I had like 5 hours of homework I didn't need to do. Like technically, because I knew already all the things that were asked of me and I was an excellent student. And that's awful to do to a child with a lot of rightness. So to a quad right, that's really awful. And to ask them too much in advance what they want to do, and like all those things. What are you thinking about? What are you seeing? All those things that demands from them to be conscious of whatever is happening in their body. That's bad for them.
Okay.
And on the other side, you have the little quad left, and they are the ones that are moving around. They're like it's absolutely certain that ADHD people, there's a lot of quad left in there, because they need their body needs to move, their brain needs to be stimulated at all time, their mind is always thinking about something, that their view is always taking things in. And I would say that what we can, the way we hurt those children is by forcing their focus, instead of trusting that a lot of the focus needs to be natural. It needs to be grabbed. Just like leftness is that way. I'm sure you sense that in some way in your body. Like it's just like leftness is grabbed by stuff, and they cannot. It's so traumatizing for them to force them to focus on something they're not interested in. Like if it doesn't come in, it doesn't come in. It's not the time. And just letting them just do something else that is easier and maybe go back to the thing that would be so much easier. And those are children, I would say, you can explain them what you are doing and why you are doing it. And, so they know why you ask all that activity and strategy for them, and you give them better strategy. And then, you can ask all the things like, what are you thinking? What are you seeing? Just what are you doing right now? All the things, that's something that can be, I would think, very good for a quad left, but very bad for a quad right.
Yeah. You got my brain definitely turning. And back to this left thing, even when we were learning some of the rules. Like I basically don't have a lot of rules as a parent, not because I'm whatever, but I don't know why that I'm like, I'm really working on not qualifying everything I say with some sort of like, whatever. Let's just not judge it. I don't have a lot of rules. I try to keep it simple that we just respect other people. And that when we discuss something, even when we disagree, we do it respectfully. And so respect is one of my big rules and safety is the other one. Like, am I safe? Is the way I'm acting safe for other people? If it's funny for me, but not funny for the other 5 friends that are here, then it's not really that funny, like those kind of things. It kind of just balance respect and safety with my boys. And my one son that is left, like if we'd have a rule, if I was teaching him something about like being polite, for example, then I would see him like take that and sample it in different social situations to see if it was still true. And I'm like, and I always used to feel very tolerant yet annoyed by that because I'm like, of course that's still a rule. It was a rule yesterday, rule the day before, rule the day before. I'm like, that's to me, you have lots of data to say that this rule still stands. But in his mind, because he was trying to file it correctly, it's so nuanced. And so since it's different, I need to see if it fits in this file too. Does it fit with this? How about with my little brother? Do I have to respect him the same way I have to respect my big brother? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So, but that's really helped me get kind of a peek in why that's happening. He's not being resistant. He's saying, I really do need to play with this thing. I'm focused on this idea. You grab my attention. Now I need to see where it all fits before I file it away in my long-term storage and go, okay, that's a rule everywhere, but he's not going to just take my word for it that it's a rule everywhere. He's got to sample with it. It's really interesting. It's just the filing system, watching it happen. And or here's another example. He has decided he wants to beat his math back. We do some parts of our math we do as a skill building where to try to get them to be able to do them faster. We do flashcards. It's a little old fashioned, but he loves the challenge. I told you he's my boy with the 28th, the channel of struggle. And he has decided this week that he wants to beat his score. So perhaps his problem with my math worksheet today is it had nothing to do with beating his score. And that's what he's focused on right now. So, and he won't be able to really take on a new big division concept until he's mastered his math facts. And yes, I'm talking about you. He's just come in the door. So anyway, okay, well, we should probably wrap this up. That was a lot in one episode. I'd like to kind of create a cheat sheet to add to the show notes. And so if you don't mind, I will send it to you. And to make sure that it looks accurate for what you were describing today. I'll go back and listen and see if I can create like a visual for people to print off and kind of help them guide. Like it's that what you've shared to me is very, very eye-opening. I want to chew on it for a while too, because I really do think there's even some more refinement I could do in my educational approach especially with my one son that is the youngest one is a lot more right. I think he's got 3 right arrows and 1 left. So he does we just maybe need to create, and what's on the top of my head, again, this is just me conceptualizing without really knowing what I'm talking about yet. But the big idea here that I think I'm going to shoot for is just creating an environment where he has plenty of things he could take in and pick up without any of it requiring 100% of his focus. Which we do have that. He's got other brothers learning math, and he's got, things on the TV. We have toys, different things to play with. But he really does seem to just take all of it in. And he surprises me when he finally volunteers to contribute something in one of our discussions. He always surprises me what he's taken in from somewhere. So that really resonated with me. I'm just trying to see if I'll have to play with it for a while in my mind to see if I can be more intentional about it and more, I'm just I think I should just observe it for a while and see what happens. So
yeah, you have nothing
really
to
fascinating. Yeah.
You're gonna see it's going to come out anyway because of your rightness. It's going to come out exactly when you need it. That's one of the hardest things because it's just like right now I'm thinking like one binary I didn't talk about was like the strategic. The left one is about survival. And that's why the strategy is there. It's because it's to optimize survival. And the right is only about awareness. So we just take things in and they come out exactly when we need to. And that's why we don't need the strategy. And that's why even material survival, because on our plane, material survival is how we survive. It's just like right minds do way better when we don't think about that kind of stuff. How am I gonna make money, for example? That's a big one. That's not one for us. Like the less we talk about it, the less we think about it, the more it just comes out, and you don't know why, but it comes out because in rightness there's some kind of there's something that say this is to be nurtured and to be used as a resource. And so like it just comes to us. It's kind of magical when you start doing that more and more easily. It's just like it changes everything. and
Nice.
in, and the left is more focused on that kind of things and absorbing that kind of things, and usually that's why we all think about it, because we are in the left world and we have a left history and left culture and stuff like this.
Yes,
so
exactly.
so yes.
Someone who's right dominant, that the worst thing they could do is hire a business coach and try to figure out how to make more money, because
Oh my god,
we're
yeah.
talking about it and thinking about it all the time. And if they only have one, like the number, we're looking at mostly the top. You were saying with the mind and if the mind is right, that those people also probably need to talk about it a little less and just take in their surroundings and let the answers come
Mm.
to them. That's
Oh yeah.
so interesting. Try
Mhm.
telling all of those business coaches out there that. Oh my goodness. Half your clientele needs you to tell them. Stop worrying about it. It'll come to you. I
Yeah.
mean, that's so amazing. How freeing, right? Just stop
So
worrying about it.
very freeing. That I would say that's an advantage we have in the experiments, because in the experiments we come quickly to notice how relaxing and liberating it is to not think about stuff. And the left minds, they have to learn how to discern the stuff, like, and oh, so it's the strategies, but not the strategies I'm thinking about consciously. And it's not the strategy I'm deciding mentally. It's all the strategies that are coming to me, and I collect them, and then I know what to do. But
Right.
it's so for them it's more confusing to just let go of the mind as an authority. For us, fuck, it's magical. It's just like, oh my god, we can live like this. We can relax. It's like being on vacation compared to trying to live as a left being when you have a right mind. That's awful. So yeah, that's just like the business coaches. Oh my goodness, it's just so much not self over there. But it's just
Yeah, definitely not bashing them. I know they're trying to just, I mean, I love the idea of
yeah.
helping everyone to have an aligned business. I think that's wonderful. And I think it's also I mean, creating jobs is such a beautiful thing. I mean, in a lot of places in the world, that people are stressed about food prices and gas prices. And so, yeah, I'm all in support of empowering people to be able to have a better work-life balance and work for them. I mean, I really am all about this, but like you said, we have a gift with human design of with not only with our children but with ourselves to not use it as a weapon, but instead to turn around and use it as a tool where we don't have to fight ourselves so much to fit into whatever this box is that seems like this is what success looks like, and that
Mm.
we can kind of say, yeah, success looks like that. Maybe it looks like that for me too, but my approach to it is going to be different because my variables are different. And so I can play with my energy instead of trying to force my energy to look like yours. And that's like, if I wish I could just get yeah, I don't go around trying to sell human design to people either for that exact reason. Because if you're strategic and I don't find you at that exact right moment when the opening is there to take it in, it's going to shoot. It's just like, because they're sorting data all the time and they chuck stuff out that they don't think is important, could be completely important, but that at that moment they weren't ready for it to go in the filing cabinet, so it got chucked, and they got to hear it again and again and again. But then for the right person, I mean, maybe they get to see it in their environment, in their peripheral 7 or 8 times, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. I should probably pay attention the next time this comes up on my dash."
Mm.
So,
Absolutely.
but I don't want to sell anyone on it, because I do think that when you come into human design using the not self as a motivator, like I should figure this out, and your mind is just deciding you have to figure this out. I think that some people really turn it into a weapon against themselves, or they start making new rules for themselves to live by
Oh.
instead of, and it doesn't feel like your shoulders can drop and you can take a big breath and say, ah, like what you were describing. It feels to them
Mm.
more like I have to get more tense and I can't do XYZ because I'm a whatever aura type, or should do more of this because I'm that aura type. And I just, yeah, I don't feel like that's right. That's a misuse of, I think, the gift. I think the gift is meant to help you go,
Oh
okay,
yeah. Oh,
okay,
for
I
sure.
can live inside my own body. I didn't think I had permission to do that.
Mm.
So that's a
Oh,
feeling we're going for, is helping people take their own sigh.
absolutely, because it's just like, yeah, like you're saying, we're strategizing with human design instead of just taking it in, and it's just information. It's not a list of rules. Technically, if we were all aligned with our nature, there would be no rules at all,
Right.
because it would be up to each of our individuality to just do things according to our authority and to our nature, and that's a completely different world, of course. But it's just like, it's I could talk hours about that kind of things, because that's, for me, that's the heart of the problem. That's the heart of how so many people are studying human design and are so knowledgeable in human design, and are still missing the point. Is because of that. It's because they don't take in the information experientially. Like they don't translate it. They make it that kind of new grid of reference, where we still decide mentally, where we still like say, okay, I can't do that because that's not my strategy. I can't do that because that's not my nature, my variable, and stuff like this. That's not what it is. Like, the
Right.
experience is all about watching us being wrong is very, very important. Like, watching ourselves, like I don't even want to say messing up, because that's not exactly it. Like, just watching ourselves not following our strategy and authority is so important. And watching and sensing how bitter and how frustrated and angry it makes us, so important, because then you have one of those moments of recognition that is actually changing the life. Like,
Mhm.
that's the only way to change the life. And I know some people, they are following their strategy and authority very radically, they say, and it's all mind and ego, and it's just a more beautiful wrapping paper. It's just like, it's very cute. But it's you can sense how that's not it. Like, there's something in the voice, something in the way they're talking, that's just not it. And it's so important that we just let ourselves be and watch instead. That's just magical, and that's something like I can say because I'm a right being, so it's much more easier for me to sense how important that is. But it's so, so important.
Yeah, no, and I think even a left person could say, my strategy for today, just for today, is just to observe myself and my own energy, and and just catalog it as information instead of trying to do something about it yet. But that would be a more left brain way, rather than just sit back and take it all in. Like, no, that's my task today. My strategic task is to catalog all of my experiences. Like, how
Mm.
did that feel? Did it feel right? Did it not
Yeah.
feel right? Did I say yes when my body wanted to say no? How did that work out? Just taking it in as data, and then coming back with the analytical part of your brain saying, okay, did I see any patterns there? But not while you're observing. While you're observing, we're just
Yeah.
experiencing it, right?
Yeah.
And
I like
anyway,
that.
yeah, we could talk about that.
I
Yes.
love that.
Well, thank you so much. This is really impromptu, but thank you so much, because you really, in an hour's time, you have gone over all four variables, or all four, yeah, variable arrows in the chart. I think you said the one side, and I apologize to the listeners. I think I misdescribed them. You said the left hand side is what we refer to as PHS, and the right hand side is what we call. Did you say determination?
Rave psychology.
Oh, rave psychology. So
Yeah.
I was conflating those two terms before, but so the left side of the chart is the determination in PHS. That's the body, and then the psychology is on the right hand side of the chart, the rave psychology.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for clearing that up. Also,
PHS means primary health system, and it's the determination, so the digestion, the way we eat, and the environment. So that's the environment is the body, and the way we eat is the brain. And yeah, and the other side is our psychology as rave beings, humans.
awesome. Thank you so much, and I hope to have you on the show again soon. Maybe next. Well, you're splenic, so we'll figure out what we want to talk about some other time. I'm
Yes.
catching I'm catching on. Thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for your time and for being such a resource.